Most make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
Yep, the only show in America dumb enough to actually put statistics next to our predictions. It is Write That Down, the Purple Daily Football Edition. We've got the OG version over on the Score North YouTube channel and Mackie and Judd. We've got stats going back on that one to like 2015. Predictions on the board. This one's been around for 3 seasons. And we got another game here just right away. Just a game right in front of us tomorrow, so we can wipe the slate clean. We can make game predictions. Judd, you were already starting to make some predictions at the end of our Pick'em show.
Yes, I was. Bold predictions.
We have a juicy accountability session, by the way, so strap in here. Presented by our friends at TCL, one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands. They have a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution at an affordable cost. Learn more at TCL.com. Inspire greatness with TCL. And a shout out to our friends over at Federated too. You know, we sit here and complain about the offensive line all the time for years and years and years. Imagine if you had a great offensive line for your business, looking out with risk management tools and resources, protecting you from harm, shielding you from things on the horizon. That's where Federated comes in. Over 100 years of experience protecting businesses. Federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. All right, how are we feeling here? Just off the top of your heads. We all have a million things that came
Not
off the
good.
board. You guys
Not
feel
great.
not good? Okay.
No, I feel okay. I know I had a couple that hit. So I'm okay. Maybe I will, once I assess the tape, which we're about to see here, maybe I'll feel a little worse. But I feel like going into this, I feel pretty good.
I'm like Kirk. I'm negative. I see the worst case. Like I was like, the Vikings are gonna crush Tampa Bay. What's anyone worried about? So I don't feel good.
All right. In general, I think we're learning here that whenever the public is like all running in one direction with a football take, the NFL quickly course corrects a lot of those instances, and that happened in week 1 here. So, all right, let's start with Judd. You know it's bad when we have to reduce the font to like magnifying glass size here. This is like 8-point font here.
I knew
Judd.
this is going to be bad.
Oh my God.
I'm going to spare you on
don't buzz
12 buzzers.
No one wants to hear.
Is there a second page?
No, I put them all on one page here.
Yeah, that's why to reduce the font size.
Yeah. But there's been times where we've had to reduce the font size and it's like 3 pages at the end of the season. So, deep breath. You said, we'll start with the wrong ones here. The Jefferson's next contract would be announced on Friday or Saturday. You said Jefferson would sign a contract before the season that would make him the highest paid non-quarterback. Brian Asamoah and Lewis Seen will both be opening day starters in 2022.
Neither were.
Wow. Harrison Smith will have at least 1 sack in the opener. The Chiefs will beat the Lions by 10 points or more. Jordan Addison's first catch will go for a first down. Jordan Addison's first catch will go for 20 or more yards.
I feel like I was close on that because he had the touchdown catch, but
like
unfortunately.
It's like the symptoms you read after the drug on the allergy commercials.
Yeah. May result in death.
Danielle Hunter will have at least 2 sacks in week 1. Jordan Addison will catch at least 2 touchdowns in the preseason. Kirk Cousins will throw at least 3 touchdowns in week 1. The Vikings will score a touchdown in their opening drive against the Buccaneers. Ty Chandler will have more rushing yards in week 1 than all of last year. And Mekhi Blackman will be a starter in week 1. Wrong. However, you had 3 correct predictions here. You said Kirk Cousins will begin the season without a contract extension. Jordan Love will throw 2 or more touchdown passes against the Bears. It's 3, I believe. Mm-hmm. And Brandon Powell will be the team's starting punt returner. All right, so a little bit of a salvage there.
Small,
Judd.
very small. I had a feeling.
It wasn't a whole lot better for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, at least you didn't have to reduce your font size.
I did a little. Not as much as I had to for yours, though. I think yours was like 8 point. Mine's about
this is
10.
Not good. The bosses are not going to be pleased with my predictions this week. This might cost me my job.
Well, here's mine. Let's start with the wrong ones. I said the Vikings would start the season 3-0. Marcus Davenport will have 2 sacks in week 1. Kirk Cousins this second one, the third one here. This was a 3-item parlay that almost hit. I said Kirk Cousins' first completion of the season will go to Justin Jefferson, right side of the field for 15 yards or more. It was
like
to Justin
11.
Jefferson, right side of the field, but it was for like 8 yards.
Oh, man.
I love how I forgot you put the half of the field it was going to go to.
I had a vision, man, and it was correct for the most part. It just didn't go 15 yards. I said Jared Goff will get more yards in week 1 than Kirk Cousins. My sense was right. He led his team to a victory in week 1, but ultimately it's wrong. I said the Vikings would force Baker Mayfield into 3 sacks, at least 2 turnovers, and his QBR would be under 50. I said the Vikings would score on the opening drive. Jefferson would be the guy who scores. Myles Gaskin will catch at least 1 pass in week 1. Vikings will agree to a contract extension with Kirk by week 1, and the Vikings would rush for at least $150 in week 1 against the Bucks. Wrong. When are you going to admit that you were
wrong?
I did redeem a little by saying this was kind of a layup here. I said Ty Chandler or Dwayne McBride would get at least 1 touch in week 1.
This was a spite prediction against me when I made the prediction that Ty Chandler would be cut.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You made this out of spite, and it worked.
Yep. Vikings will blitz on the first play of the season against the Bucks. They sent 2 extra rushers on that play.
Yeah.
And I said the Lions would beat the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. And they did. Boy, the listener is also a bloodbath here.
This is not good.
It's bad.
Ooh.
All right, Dave said Justin Jefferson will be the top paid wide receiver by week 1, and he said Myles Gaskin would get at least 10 or more touches in week 1. Joe said Ivan Pace would have 2 or more sacks in week 1. He did well, but he didn't have 2 sacks. He also said that Jefferson, Addison, and Hockenson would all have touchdowns in week 1 against the Bucks. Brady said Stephon Diggs will not start for the Bills in week 1. Austin said Justin Jefferson will catch 2 touchdown passes before Addison catches his first.
Whoops.
Anthony said Aaron Rodgers will lose in the AFC playoffs. Well, the Jets might, but Aaron Rodgers won't. I mean, I guess if somehow... No, there's no way. He's not going to be on the active roster. He would not be credited with a loss. Kale said the Vikings will start at least 5 second-year or rookie players on defense in the season opener. They played a bunch of them, but like Mekhi Blackman didn't start. Pace didn't start.
Right.
So technically this
One
wasn't
linebacker
true.
on that first series. I think Jordan Hicks was the sole linebacker for that entire first defensive series.
Yep. 3 safeties. Andre had the only correct prediction of the week for listeners. He said the Vikings will have 9 new starters on offense and defense by week 1. So this was a little nebulous because I had to go back and see like who were the starters for the most part last year.
Sure.
And there was a couple that were kind of gray, but like DJ Wanham wasn't really, he started a couple games, but wasn't really a starter. And so I'm giving a little leeway here because there were some guys that did start, like a Caleb Evans like started a couple games, but he wasn't a starter. You know what I'm saying? So they did get to 9 based on my math.
Yeah.
Let's give it to them.
Let's give them 1 victory.
Okay. All right, Dex. It's not the greatest here. Not the greatest. You said the Vikings would cover the 6. Sam Howell will have a passer rating for Washington of at least 100. And Byron Murphy Jr., Caleb Evans, and Jawan Williams would have the most snaps of Vikings quarterbacks in week 1 in that exact order. You said Brandon Powell will be the team's starting punt returner in week 1, but you parlayed it with will have a return of 10 yards or more. His best return was 7 yards.
And didn't they have one that was called back for holding? Did they have a? Did the
Yeah,
Vikings
they did have a penalty.
There was one that would have been legit, and then penalties, man.
You said Byron Murphy Jr. will have a pick in week 1. Jaron Hall would be QB2 on the depth chart for the week 1 game against the Bucks. Jared Goff would throw a pick 6 against the Chiefs, and the Vikings would have a new starting offensive lineman in week 1 who is currently not on the roster as of May 17th. They just ran it back. On the good side, this is a touchdown. You said Jordan Addison would record his first NFL touchdown specifically in week 1 against the Buccaneers. Nice little red zone touchdown pass for Dex. You said Ivan Pace would get at least 15 snaps on defense in week 1. And Josh Oliver would be among the top 5 graded players for the Vikings offense in week 1 against the Buccaneers.
Is the last one touchdown worthy? So I made this pretty early.
Josh Oliver?
Yeah.
Top 5? No.
I mean, there's only 11 starters on offense, and
Okay.
he's, one of them.
Okay.
He basically said he's going to be like one of the top 40% of the starters, right?
I guess if I
don't
probably
know.
said top 3, I would have been.
Top 3 could have been
Could
negotiated.
have been,
I
but
think.
yeah, top 5's not. Let's move on.
Wow.
I'm
Tension in
so
the room.
bitter about my week. Let's just move on.
So with that,
That's
Declan's
why.
still holding on to a completion percentage lead, 37% completions, and the touchdown lead was 6. I'm at 32.9% completions with 5 touchdowns. Judd, 31.55
passed
touchdowns.
me.
I did. We're kind of going back and forth because you were in last place, I feel like,
Man,
recently.
was that a battle of just basically incompetence? Okay.
Everyone dropped points here. And then listeners at 23.3 with 2 touchdowns. All time, it's a very tight race. Declan with 35.6% completions to Judd's 34.3. I'm at 32.3. Listeners 23.2. I still have a 9 touchdown lead over Declan and the listeners. Judd with 20. Check down Judd here with 23 touchdowns.
There was no need to
All
take
time.
that shot at me. I had a tough week. Why would you take that shot at me now?
Hey, Alex
I'm
Smith had a good
vulnerable.
career.
I'm vulnerable. I'm hurting from a standpoint. You know what I am?
Chad
I'm Kirk.
Pennington had a great career. Nice career.
I'm Kirk.
Like
I'm
Chad Pennington. Could throw 10 yards.
Chad Pennington was really, really.
He was
not
good,
that bad a
he
quarterback.
checked down a lot.
Well, his arm went. His arm was.
You could only
Toast.
throw 10 yards.
Yeah. It worked out pretty well for a couple of years. Let's get Brett in here. He's our guest listener predictor on Write That Down today, making his first ever appearance on the segment here. Brett, what's going on, man? When did you first become a Vikings fan?
So I've been a Vikings fan pretty much my whole life. Growing up in the northwest part of Illinois, a lot of Packers and Bears fans you gotta argue with and fight with each season. So it's tough out here. But my dad was a huge Vikings fan growing up in the 70s. He talked about the Purple People Eaters, Fran Tarkenton, Bud Grant, rest in peace. And so that made me want to be a Vikings fan. And we just love watching games together and rooting them on.
Yeah,
I love
the
that
signature.
hat.
Yeah, dude. We were just going
I
to say the
love
same
his
thing.
hat, but here's the other key thing. You've worked the brim. The bill thing, I love that because like I hate the straight. I hate the flat brim now.
Wait, you're saying Brett? You're complimenting
Brett,
Brett's brim?
Yeah, I'm complimenting
Yeah,
the
he's
brim
being old man yelling at
on the
hat-lit
hat
clouds.
because he's worked it. He's worked it. That's what you should do. That's how you do it.
What's the problem? I'm going to turn mine around and tell
I
me
hate
because
the
mine's
flat
not
ones.
curved as much as Brett's here. I just want to
Okay,
see.
let's
Is this
see
the
yours.
proper curvature for a hat? It's slightly curved.
Judd, what do you think about O'Connell's? Is he need to improve that, or you think it's right where it needs to be?
I love the helmet that he's got now. So he's got a hat with a Viking helmet, and I actually like that. I don't know it's the greatest, but it's a far superior thing to. It felt like the last year of Zimmer and last year with O'Connell, there were a lot of bad new school hats that they tried. So I actually like this. But you've got the best.
I didn't know that Judd was a fashion police officer.
I'm a big
I
sports
didn't know that
fashion
you were
police
a
guy.
licensed. Did you go through training to be a football fashion police officer?
In my opinion, Brett has the best hat. That if I could dress O'Connell, that's the hat. I love that.
I mean, I'm going to say
Appreciate that.
I feel
Simple.
I like Brett's hat, but I feel like it's a little too curved almost. I feel like it's almost coming
Is that
down.
in the coffee lid?
you
Like,
know?
did you put it in the coffee lid? I know people do that.
I'm not going to
No,
rep for
it
this.
just I've had it for years, so it's just
Nice.
worn.
Nice.
It's kind of my working hat actually, like outside
Yeah.
choring. It's
Okay.
my working hat.
Love that. Chorin. That's good. Yeah.
Maybe you can go do some yard work at Judd's house because I don't think I don't think Judd's out there with a curved
Yeah, you want
hat.
to plant some grass for me in my backyard where there's too much shade?
Depends on what you're paying.
You guys can negotiate.
I want turf. That's what I want. I'm done with
Be
grass.
careful, dude.
I
No,
will-
be careful. You don't want to
Aaron Rodgers-
tear your Achilles tendon
Aaron
out there.
Rodgers comes over and gets hurt.
The league, the NFLPA has sent a memo league-wide to all the owners saying we demand basically that every stadium have natural grass. So
They can afford it. Yeah.
So that's going to be a thing now. All right, let's get to the predictions here. We're going to start with Brett, over to Judd, Declan, and then back to me. We'll make one prediction per round, and we'll go around the room. 3 different times. They must be football or show related.
Write this down.
Those are really the only parameters here, Brett. So what's your first prediction?
All right, so my first prediction, in order for us to have any success Thursday night, our quarterback has to show up and play really well. He's got to outplay Jalen Hurts on the other side. And I think, so write this down, Kirk Cousins will have a better QBR per ESPN than Jalen Hurts on Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So you're optimistic that Kirk's he's gonna shake off this loss and come back and do the thing in primetime.
I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm not an optimistic fan. My friends and family will tell me that all the time, but I'm trying to be, because week 1, just the way it went, we have to show up and play better week 2 and show the world that we're not going to get pummeled by Philly like last year.
Yeah, I think, man, if they win this game, I don't think it erases week 1, but I think people are going to be back in. Okay, that was a weird week 1, but okay, we're back in. If they lose, I'm so curious to see how many people are still, no, it's okay, we can dig out of this, or do people just start watching college quarterbacks and looking ahead? It's kind of crazy how much is on the line in week 2 on a Thursday.
O'Connell needs to, and I'm sure he has spent the week doing this, he needs to spend the week pumping up Kirk. You're good enough, go Stuart Smalley. You're good enough, and darn it, people like you, Kirk Cousins. Because if he gets off to a good start, I think he'll be fine. I really
Sending
do.
him affirmation texts late at night.
Nothing wrong
All
with
right,
that.
Joe, what's your first prediction?
Okay, my first prediction involves Vikings center Garrett Bradbury. He is, so the Vikings are going through walkthroughs, but because the game's on Thursday, they have to officially announce injury reports and like if we had practiced, so and so would have done this or not. Garrett Bradbury has not practiced. He came back, in the first quarter, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Vita Vea knocked him on his ass and his back went sideways. So write this down. Garrett Bradbury will miss at least 3 more games for the Vikings, starting with this game.
Wow.
So he will miss at least 3 more. I got a bad feeling that the back problem that he actually, I think he hurt in a game last year and then aggravated it badly of some sort in a car accident. I got a bad feeling this ain't going away. So he's going to miss at least 3 more games, starting with this game, Declan.
Yeah.
So are you also saying, is it 3 consecutive games? Like starting with the Eagles game?
Yes. 3 kids. Yes, thank you.
Question.
Okay.
3. Yep.
Because otherwise, like, is he going to miss 3 games throughout the course of the season?
Okay, no. I'm saying he's going to miss, starting with Philadelphia, he's going to miss 3 at least, though, because it could be more than that.
Yep. Exactly.
Backs are not something that you can just play through.
Got it.
Yeah. It's
But thank you for the
John
clarification.
Sullivan used to have back problems too. It's like,
And at that position, is there anything worse? Like you
no.
are bent over hiking a football through your legs.
I played 36 holes this weekend, and my back was feeling pretty good on Saturday night by the time. So I completely sympathize with Garrett Bradbury. All right.
Turn to beers or something probably to help you.
I'm going to take some of my pent-up frustration from my hottest take and put it in the write that down. So write this down. The Vikings will go 3-and-out before they score a touchdown against the Eagles on Thursday night. They will go 3-and-out before they score a touchdown against the Eagles. Write it down.
So if they don't score a touchdown, it would hit, because they'd hit a 3-and-out before. Okay.
This appears to be a bunt.
I don't think it's a bunt.
Wait,
They're
what
actually
if
very good on the first drives typically and under Kevin O'Connell.
What if they kick a field goal?
Then it doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Okay.
It's well, the
Touchdown
question would be,
or
what if they go a whole game with no 3-and-outs and no touchdowns? Then I guess it would be incorrect, because
incorrect.
The thing that you're saying will happen.
Okay.
Yeah, not a bunch.
Just wanted to clarify.
Like if they come out and kick 5 field goals to start the game and then score a touchdown, he'd be wrong. But if they kick 5 field goals to start the game and then go 3-and-out, he'd be right. We all clear? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
Perfect.
Write this down.
All right, write this down. We will see Justin Jefferson's gritty in this game, like during the game. So between kickoff and end of whistle. If he does it in the pregame warmups, I'm saying we will see Justin Jefferson's gritty in this game. Write it down.
Got some new gritty moves too. He debuted some new moves on the Vikings social channel.
Yeah. It's looks like he's taking it to a new level here, and we're going to see it in Philadelphia. All right, back to Brett.
Wow, I can't believe how negative Judd and Declan are being with their first predictions here. I'm usually the
Really?
negative one, and I feel like I'm trying to be optimistic, and you guys are just not helping me out here. But uh, you know, we have a key safety on our team that's he's going to come in like a wrecking ball, and he plays his heart out every single game for us. So write this down. Harrison Smith will record a sack and or a turnover on Thursday night against Philly.
Mm-hmm. He was roaming around a little bit. You could see him down around the line of scrimmage on a regular basis against the Buccaneers. We also have to, at some point, mention the fact that there's a big story out now that the Buccaneers, that Baker Mayfield went into the locker room at halftime and told the guys, hey, I got their defensive signals. Like, Baker Mayfield apparently knew when they signaled this or that they were going to drop into a cover 2, cover 3. They weren't going to send extra pressure. I feel like it's not that uncommon that quarterbacks figure out, like, a tell or something, but I'm just curious, how much did that have to do with the Vikings losing that game in the second half?
I got a theory about that.
Harrison Smith's doing this.
I'll share it, but I've got a theory about that.
Are you going to share it?
Saying. Well, I can share it now, or we can wait until write that down is done, and then I can share it, so that I don't get.
If Brett's got a couple minutes here, I think you?
Okay, if Brett doesn't mind. I
share.
didn't know. Okay, didn't know if you were busy doing some stuff, lunch on the stove or something like that. Okay, here's my theory. Todd Bowles and Brian Flores run similar defensive schemes. The Buccaneers are doing all they can to pump the tires of their QB. And it's not that Baker's bad, but he's not necessarily good. And I don't know he is the sharpest bulb. I think Todd Bowles stole the signals, or I think Todd Bowles knew what was coming. And I think that they're trying to say it was Baker, because you're probably not going to say, well, the head coach stole the signals. But I think Todd Bowles, because he is a defensive guy and he knows what Flores is doing schematically because he does some of the same things. I think Todd Bowles was the one. Now, it's still a problem that they got stolen, but my point is I'm not buying that it was Baker.
But they were so demonstrative at times. I saw some fans wondering, why is the Vikings defense on third down trying to get the crowd to quiet down? That's not what they were doing. They had some sort of like bird or eagle motion.
Harrison Smith did that a lot. Oh, I didn't even think about trying to quiet the crowd down. Yeah, no, that's a switch.
I love how, like, people, if you're sitting in the crowd, a couple beers and you think, are they trying to get us to be quiet?
No.
No.
In fact, they started
third
to do
down,
that
yell.
in the first half, yeah. But I think Bowles knew, and I think Bowles knew going into the game, just from film, some of what things meant. So
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. What's your second prediction, Jed?
My second prediction, I will go with the game prediction. Thursday night in Philadelphia, the Vikings will rush, and I believe they had 41 yards rush as a team on Sunday. The Vikings will rush for 85 or more yards. They're going to establish the ground game. They need to play
45 carries to get 80 yards.
If you can't sell play action,
damn it. Run it again.
It's a problem.
Again.
So the Vikings, you guys, you know what? You can go Herb Brooks all you want. I am saying 80 or more yards from the Vikings on the ground.
We will run all night. I want them to remember the night they played the Vikings. 52 yards on 39 carries.
Kevin O'Connell's going to be remembered.
All right, Dex, what's your second prediction?
All right, write this down. This might be a little tough to track, but I feel like we'll have eyes enough on it that it should be fine. The Vikings will execute a successful screenplay that results in a first down or touchdown on Thursday night.
Wow, that's big steps for this offense.
They will execute a screenplay that results in a first down or touchdown.
All right.
Write it down.
Judd, you were about to say something?
No, that's great.
You took a deep breath, opened your mouth, and then stopped yourself.
Just breathe in the air here in SLP. That's all I'm doing.
If you take issue with Declan's predictions, this is a safe space. Okay.
I know it is, but I don't. It's fine.
Okay, write this down. I'm going to stay positive here. I feel like I'm with Brett here, although Declan just gave you kind of a positive prediction too.
Write that down.
Ivan Pace will sack Jalen Hurts or tackle him for a loss. Because I don't know if there's like a read option and he's considered a runner and he gets tackled behind the line. I don't want to get screwed by semantics. So Ivan Pace will sack or TFL Jalen Hurts at some point in this game. I like your spy idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely have something. They'll definitely have and
I could see like Metellus in the big nickel spying
absolutely.
on him too.
Guys with speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Pace, Metellus, yeah.
Big nickel.
Maybe Asamoah can get out there for 3 snaps.
Dude, I don't. That's a weird one. 2 snaps on Sunday. 1 series, 2 snaps. See you later.
Yeah, it's super weird that we would all try to crown a 4th-round pick who's never played
before
and
make
him the best linebacker in the NFL.
Stop taking bows last year. I told you in training camp. You know what? You were right, and now it's like hammering.
We all had him we were all like, oh, we could get him $15 million a year. Like, let's get through a camp first. But I think he'll be a factor at some point. He'll play more than like 2 or 3 snaps.
Don't make up for it now. No, just go after him. That's fine.
Back to Brett here for your 3rd and final prediction, sir.
Write that down. All right, so my final prediction, and probably other than quarterback play, the next biggest key part is going to be our offensive line playing well. According to PFF, it looks like the Eagles had were ranked number 1 for defensive line all after week 1, and the Vikings gave up 11 pressures. As I don't know if that's what you guys are seeing, but that's what I was seeing. So write this down: the Vikings will give up 9 or less pressures on Thursday night against Philly.
Okay,
they're really gonna have to step up and give Kirk a clean pocket as much as they can. And he's going to have to deliver the ball really well. I mean, they're really going to have to play and shut that crowd up as quickly as possible if we have any sort of chance of winning.
Yeah, I think so. Kirk was, I don't have the dropbacks, but Kirk was pressured on 27 or 28% of dropbacks. So like 1 in every 4, basically. I would take that every week, especially against this defensive line. 9 pressures, I guess sometimes you can have multiple pressures on one play, but if he's pressured on 9 dropbacks, that would be a huge win for the Vikings, I think, in this game, assuming they throw like 30-plus times.
And I believe he had really good numbers against pressure on Sunday, too, at least statistically. I think against the blitz, he was pretty good on Sunday, which was also a very good sign.
Mm-hmm. So, hey, great stuff here from Brett making his debut on Write That Down. Some good predictions, a great curve on the Vikings. The Vikings cap there. Since you've got this life-changing platform on Purple Daily, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment, Brett?
Yeah, like I said earlier, my dad being a big Vikings fan, I want to thank him for bringing me along into the misery that we've encountered over the years. But hopefully one day, before we die, that we're going to be crowning them as champs. And I also have to thank my wife. Huge supporter. She loves watching the Vikings just as much as I do. So I love that. That's what we do every Sunday or, Thursday night like this week. Thank you guys for having me on. I love all the content you guys put out there. O-line committee, just the you guys are bringing stuff on in the off season, every day, holidays, doesn't matter. So I really appreciate that and really love the stuff.
Thank you, man. Brett, thanks for the kind words. Good luck with your predictions and try to enjoy the game tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. There he is. Guest listener predictor Brett. Hey, before we make our final predictions and get to a quarterback cesspool challenge, Judd, you actually on a call with Cody Finch this morning from Finch Home Solutions, catching up.
I was indeed, and yeah. Well,
Cody,
he was preparing. If you two would stop, he was preparing to get in that van and to go around the Twin Cities fixing electrical problems in homes far and wide. Now the problem was he was a little bit down because, of course, the game did not go as Cody planned, and Cody is a huge fan. But a quick aside, Cody was on the train going to the game on Sunday when a fan saw him and said, are Finch Home Solutions, do you like PD? And Cody's like, absolutely. And I own Finch, and it's great that it brings our family together here on this show. And by the way, I got, in fact, an offer that Cody told me about, Finch Home Solutions, which I was not aware of until this morning. It's the Finch Friends and Family Plan. It is 1 free electrical inspection a year, no dispatcher fee, priority dispatching, and a 10% discount on all work performed in your home for $9.95 a month. That's right, $9.95 a month gets you at the top of the list. And so if anything goes wrong, Finch Home Solutions comes to your home and fixes it. It's going to be quick. It's going to be efficient. It's going to be easy. Just have to call them, 612-357-2604, 612-357-2604, or go to finchhomesolutions.com, finchhomesolutions.com, because when you see that truck pull up, you know it's going to be the service that you want.
That's right. And then if you're a dog and you see the bag of Nutrisource come out, Nutrisource chicken and rice in our home, you know you're going to be in for a delicious meal. Maya Mackey is all about Nutrisource chicken and rice, the little salmon-flavored training treats. Nutrisource is the official dog and pet food of Purple Daily and Score North.
Yeah, guess what? Vikes fans might be down, but that little girl right there, Stella Zolgad, she's not down because she knows that every time she goes outside, she's going to come back into training rewards treats. And in the dog world, that is a victory. Just like for your guy, Declan, Vincent right there.
Oh yeah, Vinny loves his treats. Even though the weather's cooling down a little bit, he likes to stay in bed and sleep in like a little teenager. If you shake that bag, just give a little.
Oh yeah, the
shaking
shaking of the bag is always the key. Always.
Absolutely.
He is up and at him like a Shawn Michaels hiccup. He is just ready to go. He is tuning up the band. Give me that dang Nutrisource.
NutrisourcePetFoods.com to find a Nutrisource retailer or dealer near you. NutrisourcePetFoods.com. Another shout out here, too, to our friends at the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. Beer, food, people dressed as Vikings, real jousting. Real jousting. How about that? 16 stages of exciting entertainment, delicious food, giant turkey legs, Nordic meatballs, fish and chips, 50 games, rides, and attractions, over 250 artisans and shops throughout the festival. Just a whole bundle of fun for the family. So Bold North Adventure Weekend at the Renaissance Festival, September 23rd and 24th. We are giving away a 4-pack of tickets on the Score North app to Bold North Adventure Weekend. Open the app. You can register, and you can enter through listener rewards. The Minnesota Renaissance Festival weekends and Festival Friday through October 1st. Visit renaissancefest.com for discount tickets. Okay.
Write this down.
Back to Judd here for his third and final prediction.
All right. Write this down. This will come off the board fairly quickly. The Vikings will sign a guard or center to the 53-man roster after the Philadelphia game and before their week 3 game. Okay. So starting with Friday, the clock starts, and of course they don't play again then until the following Sunday. So they will sign a guard or center, because Brad Berry being hurt might change this equation, to the 53-man roster before week 3.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Which is the Chargers, right?
Did we figure out
Panthers?
The Chargers.
Yeah. Do we figure out where Reisner was flying to?
No, and I don't think it's going to be him.
No. Oh, it's kind
Write this
of
down.
weird. All right, Declan.
All right, write this down. After being shut down in the second half against the Bucks, I think JJ shows up in the second half against the Eagles, and I'm trying to just will this also into existence. Justin Jefferson, write this down, will have at least 5 receptions in the second half against the Eagles. So at least 5 receptions in the second half against Philly.
Your predictions don't necessarily jibe with your prediction that the Vikings are going to get their drawers blown off.
Yeah, are you hedging?
You're sort of positive.
What's your deal
No,
here?
I'm making accurate predictions, and I'm taking some of the things that I have been pent up about and seeing if they can come true still. So I still talked about
reverse engineering them is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Can you give us your Vikings predictions here again real quick? Just curious.
My 3, the Vikings will go 3 and out before they score a touchdown against the Eagles.
That aligns with them losing.
Very much.
Declan
His
has
last
them
2 were
losing.
positive.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Vikings will execute a successful screenplay that results in a first down or touchdown, something I touched on in my hottest take as well that they cannot do.
That's positive as well.
Mm-hmm. And that JJ will have at least 5 receptions in the second half.
So 2 positive ones. And that could be garbage time too.
Could be,
they could be down 28-6 or something, and JJ could go off in the second half. So I don't think it doesn't misalign that much. The game flow could dictate this.
Could be a close game. Could be close. You never know.
Okay, let's go with this one here. Write this down. You guys are
Write this down.
especially Judd keeps talking about Brian Asamoah. I'm going to make a bold prediction about Brian Asamoah.
Okay.
He's going to double his defensive snap count or more in this game. He's going to have he had 2 defensive snaps in this game. He's going to have at least 4 defensive snaps.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
And if they keep doubling by like week 6 or maybe sooner, right? He'll have 2 and then 4 and then 8, then 16, then 32. Now he's playing a full game by like, end of October.
Yeah, that's great.
He will have he will double his snap count on defense or more. That Brian Asamoah.
You call me out for bunch, Judd.
Yeah, that's his. Yeah, I'm just,
What? They don't. They clearly.
First of all,
they
my
clearly
friend,
don't like
okay?
him as much. He's
I'm
like
the
four, he's like
one-
4th on the depth chart among the 4 linebackers.
You are taking a victory lap for cautioning people about him, and I get that, but I've given you credit the whole time, and now you're taking.
I want more than
that's the
credit.
weird
I
thing.
want your soul.
You got credit. I don't
Soul
understand
is
what more
mine.
you want. I don't get what more you
Give
want.
me your car. No, you could keep your car.
No.
I got a car. It's fine.
No, you're not getting my car. I'm not going to have my car repoed because you don't read the mail.
That was like 10 years ago. 8 years ago. We can tell that story.
One of the
another
brighter
time.
people I know, and you threw away every single payment bill.
I did. I didn't realize that they needed me to change my auto pay information to collect payment on my car. And then I didn't realize they would sniff out the work parking lot and just tow it out of lot.
I
during
will
And you
work.
were
say-
endorsing it, right?
But like sometimes,
Well, I was endorsing, Toyota at the time. Yeah.
sometimes like a certain Excel bill I had, like they're not notifying me when it's due. So for the last like 2 months, I haven't gotten like my power shut off, but I've been 5 days late because it's like changed twice, and they don't notify me. Like I like a good email of, hey, your payment's due in a week, or hey, your payment's due today. I've got none of that from Excel. Declan here for Excel Energy. I'll gladly endorse. I'm just saying, sometimes you forget about bills. It happens.
Wait a second. Wait, what? So
Do you not get the bill?
you're
So-
not paying your energy bill? What's the?
No. I've paid it. I've paid it. It's just I've been like 5 days past the due date the last 2 months because I've gotten no paper or even email receipt that says, hey, your payment's due.
So then, how do you pay?
I end up going on Excel Energy to check,
You
like,
use-
hey, is it
do
due
you use
today?
cash? Do you use
yeah.
cash?
No, I don't use cash. I use my
That's
bank
super-
account.
So you don't get a letter. You don't get
No.
a notification. That feels like you should
I'd-
make a phone call and tell them.
I probably
that you
should,
want-
so I don't have to keep, forgetting.
or
my,
just put in the,
Payment.
some type of auto pay. I mean, I guess you could do that.
Yeah, but I
too,
don't
right?
like. That's another thing. Auto pay. I
We
know.
do a
I
lot of
like.
that. It's
I
very
like to.
convenient.
I like to pay it when I want to pay it.
Oh,
That's
you guys
very
don't do
convenient.
auto pay? I mean, I already got
We
in
do.
trouble on this show once for ripping cash. Can I rip people that don't do auto pay, or am I going to get savaged in the YouTube comments?
I feel it's very convenient.
It is. Really glad we went down this side street here. It's time now for the quarterback cesspool challenge. Let's go.
Auto pay cesspool.
The quarterback cesspool challenge here on Purple Daily. This is an old 1500 ESPN Mackey and Judd radio segment. And actually, can we throw this up on the screen here for the YouTubers? Our graphics department's been hard at work here. We have a quarterback cesspool challenge wing of our graphics department here at Score North and on Purple Daily. So here's how it works. Every week, we celebrate bad quarterback play in the NFL by attempting to select the worst quarterback performers each week. So the rules are each member of the show can only use a quarterback once per season. It's kind of like your eliminator pools. So like Declan used one of the random Cardinals quarterbacks last week, Joshua Dobbs.
No, that was me.
Or Judd did. I'm sorry. Oh, Judd did.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, I might have gotten you guys mixed up then.
Yeah, because I had Mac Jones.
Okay, you
did
have
not
That
Mac
happens
Jones,
a
by the
lot
way.
too. That happens quite a bit.
This
Dex and
graphic's
I
gonna be wrong
look
now.
alike,
Uh-oh.
same height and weight. What? Oh my God!
Son of a.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's happened to our show?
I don't know. No, you're right. Yeah, Declan. I had it written down right
was
in the
me.
spreadsheet, like
was
the
me.
statistical spreadsheet. But all right, when I flash this graphic here, just pretend that it
Pay no
says something that it doesn't. Okay?
Pay no attention to it.
Damn graphics department.
we
So
gotta fire somebody.
the scoring is just the lowest QBR every week. If your quarterback doesn't play, you receive a default of an average QBR. So again, Judd had Joshua Dobbs. Declan had Mac Jones.
Son of a.
But it didn't really matter because
look at
old
this.
Macadac had C.J. Stroud
Look at the
as
beat I
his
took,
quarterback.
I know.
That's a bad beat.
Also, I was gonna ask, in the event there's a tie, do we go to passer rating? Like traditional passer rating? Because I saw this. I looked at the stats yesterday for the box scores, and I was like, wow, this came down to the wire. And then it got me thinking of, in our random Viking controversies,
that.
I was trying to figure out if there's a tiebreaker.
I'm fine with that too. So we go to traditional passer rating if there's a tie. Okay.
Yep.
So I had C.J. Stroud making his first NFL start. He had a 21.2 QBR on a 1-to-100 scale. Judd had Joshua Dobbs 21.6, just 0.4 better than C.J. Stroud. And then Declan, you had Mac Jones, who was below average, but he wasn't that bad, 48.9. The worst quarterback in week 1 was Daniel Jones, fresh off that new contract, an 8.4 QBR
I thought
on a 1-to-100 scale, or a 0-to-100 scale. So I take the week 1 victory here. Season standings, again, these are wrong because I mixed up your picks. Declan actually has the 48.9, and then Judd has the 21.6. So with that, we're gonna draft in reverse order of last week's standings. So for instance, Declan had the worst score of us, like worst meaning the highest QBR. So we're gonna go Declan, Judd, and then me when picking our quarterbacks for this week. All right.
Okay. I am going to take Ryan Tannehill.
Okay.
I'm going to take Ryan Tannehill, who looked awful last week. He's playing the Chargers. Now he's at home again, or he's at home this week, I should say, against the Chargers. But I think Tannehill is going to have some significant problems again. So I'm going to take Ryan Tannehill in this week's quarterback cesspool challenge.
So I'd like to take you just very briefly behind my thought process because it's week 2, and we're burning through the in our opinions worst of the worst really quickly, and so I've been toying with, and not because I think it's going to happen, but because I do think that there's an off chance it could. I've been toying with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he's on my list too.
Because it's Philadelphia.
And you're going to have to use 18 quarterbacks.
Exactly. But Zach Wilson, excuse me, I'm choking up. I'm so upset. Zach Wilson plays the Cowboys in Dallas. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with Zach in Dallas because it's just because if Zach Wilson wasn't playing a team on the road, I might be like, okay, he's got a chance.
Yeah.
But I'm going to hedge my bet here, I think is what I'm doing, basically. I'm going to take Zach Wilson.
I was.
But Kirk is an interesting choice just as far as you're going to have to use somebody like him. Yeah. And I am emptying my chamber here pretty quickly on just what I consider to be awful quarterbacks.
Zach Wilson at Cowboys has potential to be like a meme. Micah Parsons, I mean, it's just, he also just like gets nervous and flushes from the pocket, and he was fast enough at BYU to maybe outrun some guys and get out on the edge, but you watch him run for his life. So that's a good one. Josh Dobbs is starting again for the Cardinals. We don't know how many times he's going to be available. They're playing the Giants at home. Kirk Cousins at Eagles. Like at some point, we're probably going to have to pick quarterbacks like Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
But I do sense a bounce back here. So I'm going to play it safe. Again, Josh Dobbs might get benched, so I'm gonna play my Joshua Dobbs card this week.
Good call.
And he is my guy it's a home game, but against the Giants. But he was so bad last week. He's not a starting quarterback.
How did I not get that win?
Because there's a lot of bad quarterback play.
I know.
In the NFL, man.
I really wanted that win. Like that was Vikings against the Buccaneers. Joshua Dobbs, like I had that, and it's like you came in and stole it.
But you're still in good position because we have the season long QBR. I mean, you put a big score up right away.
I just wanted week 1. That's all I wanted.
Nope. So there it is. That's the quarterback cesspool challenge where we celebrate bad quarterback play in the National Football League.
Go Zach. Go Zach.
Our schedule for the rest of the week, it's a little wonky because, there's a game tomorrow night. So tomorrow morning, we're going to drop a State of the Offense episode just to give you guys a little something to whet your football content appetite between morning and kickoff. Then we're going to be live for a Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel right after Thursday Night Football between the Vikings and Eagles concludes. And then on Friday, we're going to hit you with a live stream, 9 o'clock in the morning Central Time, just like we did on Monday. Our sort of day after hottest Vikings takes, our pie chart, et cetera, et cetera. And then we'll have a feedback episode for you guys for Saturday. So we're going to be all kinds of stuff coming at you over the next few days here. A shout out to our friends over at Fratelloni's. So it is absolutely tailgating season here. I know Judd and I were at a tailgate together for Gophers a couple weeks ago. But here's some live footage of Declan grilling kebabs on his Weber grill. You got the shrimp on the barbie. You got the kebabs. Fratelloni's is one of the largest Weber dealers in the state. They're here to help you kick off tailgating season with a brand new Weber grill. Wings, steak, kebabs, whatever. You can put a pizza on a grill. All the fun things you can put on a grill. They also have a program called the Fratelloni's Advantage. Free grill assembly, free home delivery, free removal and recycling of your old grill. So take advantage. ScoreNorth.com, enter keyword Weber to find out more. Or stop into Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden, one of 20 metro locations. All right, boys. That's a wrap on our prediction. Write that down. Wednesdays, our quarterback cesspool challenge. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die on Purple Daily.